read the whole report from the border dispute.
Yeah. Yeah.
All you need to do is read the last paragraph.
That's true.
Crazy. Crazy
Oh.
stuff.
Hold this thing.
Depressing. Yeah, I want to know when we all agreed that the line was straight.
We didn't, and
Yeah.
it's an issue.
Yeah, that's,
Because the
And
line
that's
is,
what Paul was saying.
the line is
meeting.
not straight.
Yeah.
no.
Anyway,
Anyway.
it being 5:45, I call the select board meeting to order on August 10th.
Hang on one second, just
Oh.
want the,
Oh,
that was a sort of pathetic.
that's a weak hoot. He's got a frog in his throat.
Yeah.
Might have some audio issues tonight on Zoom.
Let's,
Give it the old pull and puff.
okay. Okay.
Try again.
Sure.
Just be
Okay.
5:45, I'll call the meeting to order again on August 10th. And I make a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A 3 2C, Session 1 and 2.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Bear, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Okay, we are in non-public.
5:45.
Okay, 5:40.
I had it.
Oh, it's good.
I
Is
like
it
it.
like Dr. Pepper?
Better.
Oh.
Yeah.
This little old lady that was my pseudo-grandmother growing up, she was a French-Canadian neighbor of ours, and she like watched us, and that was what she had, was ginger ale and Moxie. I don't know, I think as you gotta have it as a young kid to love it.
Yeah.
Do you belong to Moxie Congress?
I don't.
I do.
Moxie
Oh.
I've been
Congress.
going there for years.
Yeah?
Like a fan club.
It's a whole week of festivities.
Wow.
I like it. To look into that.
Lisbon Falls.
All right,
Cool.
can you turn the owl back?
Yes, we are turning everything back on.
I'll look at that, we're right at 6 too.
There's a huge television.
Yeah.
It is a huge
You can feel the
show.
radiation. Yeah, yeah.
You get
You lose your
radiation.
mind back there.
It's good for you.
Maybe. Grow some hair up there or something. I'd probably need a big
All right.
TV behind me.
At 6,
Uh,
are we ready?
Almost.
Oh, almost ready.
Give
Okay.
wait one more second. Okay, we're ready.
At 6:01, I make a motion to come out of non-public.
A second.
Thank you.
There you go.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Very yes.
Schaefer, yes.
All right, we are now in public session. Are there any changes and additions to the agenda? Just the transfer station fees?
Yes. Just that.
Okay,
And now you all have it in front of you.
oh, we do. Should we do it first?
Oh, no, it was a DRA form first.
Okay,
You received that via email,
yes.
and I've reviewed it, Elaine's reviewed it as reviewed by our auditors. And so you motion to accept that form as presented, and then it'll be submitted to the Department of Revenue.
Accept the form? as-
The MS 535 as presented. yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to accept the DRA form MS 535 as presented.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Done.
Thank you.
Now, on to transfer station fees. It has been brought to our attention that the company that disposes of our tires, that we end up having to pay to have our tires disposed of, has raised its rates. And so at our current rate, we would be losing money on tires. Therefore, we need to raise our tire disposal rate. So do we have to go through each one?
Well, one question that Glenn raised about the smaller tires, which were $1 each, what we were charging, and cost us $5 each to dispose of. His concern is if we charge $5 each for those tires, that people will just throw them out on the road or in their backyard. That's just something he raised. I don't, if they cost us $5,
So the rates that were on here, that's what we were charging? Or is that what we
the
were
rate
being
is what we were charging, the numbers in the third column are the new cost.
Were we charging a direct pass-through, so our cost was the rate?
I don't know what the
Looks like
cost was when it was $1, but now it's $5 and we're charging $1.
We don't know what it was.
And we don't know what it was. And so anyway, that was something Glenn mentioned, you don't want people just throwing the little, these are just the little like
Yeah.
wheelbarrow tires and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Little 6-inch, 8-inch tire.
Yeah, but anyway, maybe you just charge what it costs us,
Seems like we ought to cover our costs.
I think Glenn also indicated that there's a fuel surcharge. And on the bill he had in his hand, it said 15%, but on an email from the company, it said 5%, so there was some conflict there.
Aha.
So I think we need to charge it at least what we are charged. And Glenn has to, I think, confirm that they just dropped the one and it was a typo and it's purely a 15%.
Or did they insert a 1 by mistake?
Yeah, that would be better.
You're right.
But either way, I think we need to charge at least what we are charged.
I agree.
And maybe for the really big ones, charge an extra $5 to cover the fuel surcharge, I don't know. I don't think $5 for any tire is too much really, because everybody knows they're hard, you can't just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to go to a tire facility.
Okay, so, in the far right column where it says $5, that would be accurate to,
The new
Yeah.
rate.
okay.
Yeah.
One of them would go down, and that's the rear farm tractor, from 80 to 75.
I'm still on the front page.
Okay.
Because we haven't talked, do you want, and 20 is,
Well, is 75 and 30 the new one? They're not highlighted.
Oh, that's the second page, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
on this front
Okay.
page.
Let's
Sorry, I
say
said
what-
that, I'm sorry.
Because I'm the one who's gonna have to type it up.
Yeah.
So currently they're charging us $20. And one thing that apparently has been done in the past is you set the rate a little bit higher so that A, it covers fuel
Yeah.
charges, I guess. And B, if there's a small increase, you don't have to constantly be catching
Yeah.
up to it. Glenn suggested, for example, that could be $22 or $25 but maybe 22 or something.
Or car and light truck's only 5, which would equal a bicycle tire, which doesn't make sense. We can make car and light truck 10.
Oh,
So I think it does make sense to find some ways to increase a couple to help cover that fuel surcharge.
and then leave the large truck at 20? Or,
Not sure.
Keith, Maureen is trying to get in.
sorry? Oh, thank you.
I like
Alright.
keeping it a round
Alright.
number so we don't have to make change
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like 5s and 10s.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to know what we were charging when the rates were lower, if we were.
Well,
I think these rates have been around for a while, but I don't know
Yeah, so
how
we've
long.
probably been losing money for a while.
I mean, this bill that, he just got a trailer load, he filled his trailer with tires and decided I better get rid of them.
There was like hundreds of
And
tires.
that's when he
Got the
went to
new-
Bob's,
I see.
and Bob's rate was up since the last time he emptied the trailer, the container.
Okay, and then the second page is tractor, trailer, dump truck, $20 each instead of 15. That's our cost, not,
Making money.
Yeah.
Not covering.
yeah, no surcharge or anything. And then, it looks like we're still okay on front farm tractor. Not okay, still okay on rear farm tractor. mind you, I have no idea what we're talking about. I mean,
Those are pretty big.
Big tires.
Those are big.
It's like
but
a
why is
backhoe
it, what's the,
looking
when it says no wheels accepted, that's the steel,
That's
that's
the
the
steel
structure.
part, that's
Oh,
the
I
wheel.
see,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Those are the giant ones, and then the loader skidder backbone, we need to increase,
yeah.
to at least 400
Yeah.
to cover costs.
I mean, does it make sense to bring up the, I don't know, I can't imagine how
415.
many we get
Yeah,
loader skidder tires.
I would think people have other ways of getting rid of those, but,
Planters, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
When I grew up, that's what the sandbox was in the neighbor's backyard, was
Mhm.
a backhoe or a tractor tire.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so whatever you guys think is,
I think we should at least meet cost.
Yes.
and Glenn suggested that you go a little bit above cost.
up so we don't have to raise it next month when Bob charges more.
Mhm.
Apparently, this Bob's tractor, or Bob's tire business is where everybody gets rid of their tires. The
Where
service,
is it?
I don't know, the service stations, Rickers, everybody
Huh.
sells them, or, excuse me,
And then what happens to
pays
them?
Bob. I don't know what Bob does with them.
Big stack in the backyard. I mean, what if we went $5 over on everything but the $5 ones? That should cover the surcharge
More than.
and give us room for,
Next time.
you know.
I don't have any idea how many tires we get at the transfer station. I mean,
I knew it was 100 and something, but did it take them 6 months or 12
Right.
years to fill it up? That's what I.
that's what I don't know.
It was a lot of tires.
I mean, well, it's probably better to get this taken care of. I was gonna say you could
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk
ask
to
him
Glenn
for more.
again.
Yeah.
I would bounce it back to Glenn and say, propose slight increases across the board to cover the fuel surcharge and come back at the next meeting with some,
Okay.
I feel better about
Steve, do
that.
you wanna reach out since you're the liaison?
Sure.
Okay.
and ideally make them all round off to 5s and 10s.
Okay.
And we'll confirm whether we need to post that or have a public hearing or something.
Yep. Oh, I can. Okay.
Next is the raffle form for Seek the Joy Comedy Night, plus 30-day notification waiver. I make a motion to accept the raffle form for Seek the Joy Comedy Night.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Can you
Oh.
include the waiver of the
Oh.
30 days in that?
Okay, plus 30-day notification waiver.
Second.
Do you say yes?
Fair, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
And that's it for
And old business.
old business. The townhouse, we got a conceptual drawing from the engineers that we hired for a new fire escape at the townhouse. It looks good. It looks like a good design. The door stays in the same location, but instead of the staircase going down and dead ending at the brick vault, it turns and goes back the other way. And the roof sheds snow better as well.
It's really small.
And there was some concern about that being an egress point, right, for,
For carrying someone
Stretchers
out.
or something?
Well, that's
Right.
what I know, and the guy that was there brought it up, and I'm not sure he really addressed that in his design.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What-
Well, so he was talking about if someone collapses and you need to carry him out on a stretcher,
Right.
you can't go down the front stairs,
It's too
Right.
tight.
they're really tight.
So this is better than that. One thing we can't tell from glancing at it is, this might be better and that the landing may be bigger. And that's what he was
That's, yeah.
trying to achieve.
Whether you can turn the
Right.
litter on the landing.
So I like it, we should get some dimensions on it though.
Yeah,
One of our goals was to try to get the bottom of the stairs to the back of the building, because that's where you clean the snow from the back of the building, and it was just a long way to clean snow to a fire escape that you hope you'll never use. So we just find a way to dead end the stairs back toward the parking lot. It just makes more sense. And this design does it by turning the stairs halfway around.
Because then you plow by it kind of thing?
well, you can't
it's-
plow
it's a
by
sh-
it,
It's a
but
shorter.
it's a shorter shovel.
I see.
Shovel.
The other concern I had, that I was only made aware of earlier this year, is it looks like when the townhouse was moved from Hollow Hill Road to the village, the owner of the Tamworth Inn gave permission to put it on his property. So there's zero real estate with the building. I mean, we looked at that together.
Yeah,
I mean, the old vault sticks out in that direction toward the Tamworth Inn, and this doesn't stick out beyond the vault.
So assuming that lot line is straight, we should be good. I wouldn't say there's zero real estate. It is very constrained. There is some, just not much.
It's pretty much, yeah, you can put it there.
well, was the land donated to the townhouse?
Yeah.
If you look
Yeah.
at the tax maps, it is its own parcel. It's just,
Yeah.
But
the
this-
lot line is really close to the
I
building.
mean, I don't think the entryway is on, I mean, pretty much what the building sits on.
So I think we do need to look at the boundary.
Just to make sure that we don't build
Yeah.
something on the Tamworth Inn property.
And I sent this drawing to David Grass for that reason, so
Oh,
that
you
they
did?
know.
Oh, good.
And he has it. And he had a couple questions about the dimensions, so I've sent an email to Phil, the architect, to get those dimensions.
Good job.
Because it makes sense, we need to make sure that, the neighbors know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I also sent it to the fire chief today.
Okay.
So I was surprised to see that it's so obvious, I don't know why we didn't think
Why
of
didn't
it,
we think of
that we could have the fire escape leave from the same place from the building but get to the rear.
Yeah,
It was, I guess you needed an architect just
Yeah.
to
figure it out.
figure it out when we couldn't figure it out. So, of
Okay.
course, we have no idea how much it would cost, but it certainly would cost more than rebuilding it as is, but I think the end product looks
Yeah.
better.
It's superior.
And I think
will
what
last
he's,
more longer.
and what
Yeah.
he's proposing is the upper landing is enclosed to keep the snow out, but then the rest of it is not, so that the wind would hopefully clear some of the stairway.
Yeah. And the roof covers the whole thing.
And what's the intended construction material?
Wood.
I assume it's wood.
Yeah. Well, so do we agree we like the design if it ends up being on town property?
Yeah,
And we can get a stretcher down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we should
So
chat
we need
some
to
more
get-
with the fire chief and the architect about the
Dimensions.
dimensions,
Yeah,
and with the neighbor.
right.
But in general, it looks good.
Yep. Okay.
So the next step is,
Well, get some better dimensions from the architect about the size.
Get
How
input
far.
from the fire chief and from the neighboring property. And hope we don't have to spend money on a survey, but. If the property boundary
Yeah,
at
if the-
least goes out to the brick wall, then we're fine, because
Yeah.
this is shy of the brick
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah. Okay. You got that?
yep,
Next is the logo options review. And we each got a copy.
this is a graphic eye test to see what the difference is
I had to
between.
read
know.
about what the differences are.
Can you spot the difference?
Where's Waldo?
Basically, the bottom one has a double rim,
Yeah,
the middle one has a bold incorporated, and the top one has a not bold incorporated. They're subtle differences. I personally, while I like the double rim, I think it's harder to duplicate in small size and on a t-shirt or whatever, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if we just don't stick with the single rim.
I still think the word incorporated, the font's too big.
even,
It is smaller than Tamworth, New Hampshire, but it's still too big. Just in my mind. If I'm the only guy, then you can ignore that.
okay.
They all look the same to me when you glance at them.
Yeah, it took me a little while to like,
We're supposed to let everyone figure it out first.
Why are we thinking of changing it?
from the one that's currently on the website?
I can't understand.
From the one that's on the website?
Oh,
This is black and white, it's easier to reproduce.
And I don't know if you've looked at the website one, but it's,
no, I have not.
take a look.
And don't expect me to either.
Okay.
It's color, which is nice,
But if you did, you'd know why.
it's hard to reproduce
Well,
something
and-
that's color.
Like if we wanted to put it on the town trucks, this,
Where the gable
It's not high
were.
enough resolution.
yeah, the other one doesn't work very well. This would work better. If we wanted to put it on the
On anything.
Right.
town
So it's
vehicles
higher
or.
resolution, and
I
we're
wanna
gonna get
have
a
it.
vector
Yeah.
file or a raster file.
This is gonna be a
Vector,
vector file, yeah.
So, what do you all think about, is the word incorporated, am I the only one who thinks it's too big?
It does not bother me.
Okay.
Does not bother me either.
No.
Okay,
I think if it was
You're on your
smaller,
own.
it might feel odd.
It would
Okay.
be unbalanced.
Yeah.
okay. I like the double line, but you don't, Keats.
I do like it. I think it's nice, but I just think in small reproductions, like on a baseball cap or
Oh.
something,
Yeah,
this will be simpler.
that's true.
For a
And
small
having
symbol,
dealt
yeah.
with many logos,
Mm.
Oh, you
simple is
have?
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's a problem. Could be a problem.
yeah. I mean,
You
this
shrink
is
it,
a
they
pretty
could blend
detailed.
together.
It may not matter. I mean, if y'all want the double, you can have the double. But
Mhm.
I always go for simplicity if
I mean,
possible.
the center of the police badge, if we're gonna rebrand the labels, are gonna be very hard to put a double rim on.
Yeah,
It's very small.
yeah.
So we go for number 2?
That has the bolded incorporated versus the non-bolded incorporated.
Also, upper is non.
Upper is non, lower is, set 2 is bolded.
Is the upper have the bold any letters?
Well, you take a look, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's a different font according to the text at the top of the page.
Yeah, and
Number
they
one
look
is a different
identical.
font.
Oh, you know, they are, see the W is different.
Yeah.
See that funky
Oh,
W?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
different.
Oh, yeah.
I like the top one, I don't like those funky W's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the top one
I do
too.
too.
So top font, bold like the middle?
Yeah.
Or
You want bold?
And would it be bold for all the words, or just Tamworth, New Hampshire?
Your call.
We
I
could,
think that's a reasonable compromise.
yeah,
Font
we
from
could
the
do
top,
bold on the
Tamworth,
top
Hampshire.
and,
Okay.
Let's at least see that, yeah.
yeah,
So top font,
Folded,
bold Tamworth, New Hampshire.
bolded.
yeah.
Just the Tamworth, New
Just
Hampshire,
the-
not
right.
incorporated. Okay.
Are the S's too big, or do you like them?
I like them.
Okay.
What do you think?
So did Emery.
Okay,
And then what I will do is, once we had sort of selected the general direction, she will provide a color version.
Oh, okay.
That's part of the deal.
okay, what, stupid question, what color would it be? I thought we were talking black and white all along.
You know, mountains and water, green.
Oh, so I would
yeah.
go with the color of the stuff.
You'll see, yeah, I think
Okay.
it'll, yeah. And you
But
can-
when you
I mean, it
wanted
could
to reproduce it black and white, it still
We'll have
reproduces
yeah,
both
yeah.
files, yeah,
Yeah,
on stationery or whatever.
right.
yeah. So, you know, the rec department might want a bright, vibrant, colory one, and we
Yeah.
might want a more fun
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we're gonna do fall colors or summer colors?
Oh, good question. We might need a fall color.
It's gonna be summer.
I'm just trying to be difficult.
You're right, you're succeeding.
Okay, well,
All right.
I would say that you're making progress. That's great.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Okay, town office entryway discussion. So we got some input.
yeah. Oh, I didn't print out the list of all the ideas, but I think I can sort of remember them.
Yeah.
You know, dog sleds,
There was a lot of talk about the dog sleds,
yep.
which is kind of cool.
How about the town logo?
That's the simplest thing.
Mhm.
I don't think we should vote on it without a full body.
No, there either.
I like the idea of a rotating thing, but putting up one thing is a lot easier.
Well, it's expensive to rotate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
high
somebody
quality
else,
sign.
somebody else would have to do it for me to agree to the rotating. You want to put the bluebird up again? The bluebird was great. Somebody else is going to have to do that.
When was that? I don't even remember.
That was during
During
COVID.
Oh, it was? I guess I didn't look.
Certain persons put a ladder up in the night and hung
And
up
put it there and didn't ask for any
It was
rules.
that lovely message about be kind to yourself and to your neighbors.
Yeah, it was great.
It was
Okay.
lovely.
All
You don't read signs, do you?
It goes without saying.
I like the idea of the dog sleds because it's unique to Tamworth. And I guess,
But the argument against it was, that's just one season.
Yep.
One event,
yeah,
and it's not
yeah,
the whole town.
yeah. I don't know if I'd want it up there year round, but I guess what I am leaning towards is not painting this on the entryway, but making a sign and mounting it there. So if somebody wants to build another sign, and once a year, they come and ask us permission to swap it out, we could decide that at that time. So if somebody really likes dog sleds, we could put that up in the winter. I don't know. If somebody really likes that bluebird, they could come and ask, they could put that up in the,
I feel
when the
like you
bluebirds
will
come in
end
spring.
up spending a lot of time debating what's appropriate or not appropriate.
Seems like
And maybe if
a
there's
permanent
a
thing.
town logo, then you're kind of spared that opinion side of it.
Mhm, mhm.
Anyway, that's,
So this is the comments you're talking about for the gable
Yeah.
Yeah.
options?
Yeah, just a couple.
And would we mount, see, I didn't think of this as color, maybe this, if we mounted a color one, that would be pretty cool. It'd be more interesting than black and white.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we have a very boring building, and I'd like it to be a little less boring.
I think to do this label or the symbol, we'd have to see what size we're gonna get, because if it's too small, it'll just be a blur of,
We can make it any size.
you can make it
to
any
fit in the
size.
gable though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you could do like a 5-foot circle.
You can make a huge,
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think we're leaning towards this logo on the gable, but I
In
think
color.
we would, but we should get input from the rest of our board members.
Yeah.
next time I can bring the color version.
That would be great.
Maybe a bigger one of
Oh, yeah.
There's some good ideas on there though.
It was nice how enthusiastically people
Yeah.
responded.
Chris Conrad. Sled dog trying to pull Grover Cleveland.
Is that what he-
Oops, sorry. I forgot I was on camera. Let's see. Oh, is that the end of the entryway discussion?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So we'll put that on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah.
How about administrator's report?
Okay. I do not have a bank balance because our assistant treasurer needs to be trained how to do that while our treasurer is here, and she's out this week, so my apologies. I sent you, but I'll just share that the state and local recovery funds, i.e. the administrators of ARPA funds, have released a new expanded use of how you can use ARPA funds to include disaster recovery, and some other things. I mean, basically, your ability to use ARPA money for almost anything is really, it keeps getting wider and wider. I think
Yeah.
they would
They
like
just
to
want you to
see
use it.
people spending it, yeah,
Yes.
and so they can be done administering it. I had a question for you all, and I don't know if this is an agenda item for when everybody's here, but when do you want to go back to weekly meetings, or whatever, that's.
I guess it would depend on how busy the agenda looks. I would assume in September we'd go back because it would get busy, but if it doesn't, then every other week is better. But I'm assuming also that if they could have done that in the past, they would have.
They did, apparently.
Did they?
I was told, and I don't know if this is correct, but Jack from the school board, what's Jack's last name?
Waldron.
Well, thank you, told me that before this last select board, it was every other week. Does that sound right? I don't know.
Could be. It was long enough ago, I can't remember.
You don't remember, yeah. Do you know, Bruno?
I didn't have a question.
When was before the last select board, were the meetings every week or every other week?
Every other,
They were every other.
every other.
I mean, if we can keep it that way, I think that's great.
I wondered whether, when we get into budget season, whether that would require more, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be other situations where they would do it,
Yeah.
have a
2
special,
weeks.
yeah.
but it was always.
Every other.
Every other.
I mean, so far,
Seems to be working,
it's been fine, and even that very heavy schedule one we had,
last time.
but certainly there were longer meetings last fall and winter. But
Mhm.
I guess we can play it by ear.
keep it at every 2 weeks and then,
As
See how it goes.
Yeah, as long as.
okay.
as
Yeah,
long
had
as
meetings ad
possible.
hoc.
I mean,
When needed.
we can always call a special meeting.
You would
Yeah.
always keep your Thursday night free,
Yeah,
theoretically.
Yep.
Okay, alright. And maybe people have views on that and can let you guys know.
yeah.
Let's see, I met with Sheldon and Kit re the groundwater protection ordinance. And, lots to do in that regard. And luckily, the planning board subcommittee is taking on all the education and mailing aspects of it. So there's the mailing list and the brochure production and the letter writing, and they're sort of taking that whole thing on. And then I'm going to be working on a job description for the very part-time role that I guess we will need to, and because you are mandated to,
Right,
enforce
it's
this
our-
thing.
yeah.
And the other, so there's that document, there's also a need to create a document, for what does enforcement, what does that look like, and what is the actual process? And I think that's all outlined by RSAs, and so I just need to collect them and put them in a document for the town of Tamworth to know and adopt. So that's an update, and I'm looking at, I have a little drawing somewhere of the, as you all know, the nurses are gonna start building in September. And, so I started thinking about the spaces in the old nurses' space.
Mm.
And it's easy to gobble it all up.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
It really is. And there's the room that's right next to my office.
Which is their
a
conference room.
It's a conference room. It's really a storage room. There's no windows.
Oh, yeah.
So if we can put a door between my office and that office and then repurpose the windows at the end of the building, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah,
And
probably.
use those windows to create windows in that room, because I don't think you can, the room's, needs windows. But that could be an additional meeting room, which, 3 times this week we needed a private space to meet for different reasons
Mhm.
and didn't have it. So then we go and stand in the parking lot or,
Mhm.
And, obviously, the rec director can use the space over there, but it is a much more engaged process if she's here, or they are here.
Yeah,
And then the finance folks can come out of this space and have a finance office, so then this room gets big again,
Mhm.
which is very needed.
Yeah.
And that kind of is the 3 main rooms, and then there's a lobby, which I don't know what you do, that could be a workspace for somebody, I don't know what you do with that. Right now, it doesn't need a purpose, perhaps. Maybe
Yeah. I think it's just it's like a fire escape, essentially.
yeah, it's
Another way out.
egress, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I guess, I don't know what it would, cost to put in a door in those repurposed windows, but that is all and maybe it needs to be painted, but I think that,
You think the size of the rooms is appropriate? We don't need to tear down walls or put up
I don't
walls?
think so.
Mhm.
No, I think the less is more.
Mhm.
The only thing it might need is painting.
Yeah,
I haven't really looked at it, but,
Yeah.
and that's all not, I guess the question is, if we wanna do it next year, it would make sense, I don't know, maybe Rick can do it all,
Mhm.
you might be able
cause
to.
it's pretty minimal.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so
Carl's
we'll
a
have
painter.
yeah, we have a painting party.
We can have a painting party.
Um,
I've done plenty of
So
that.
yeah, so it's pretty minimal, I think, cost-wise, and
Yeah.
we can put it in the budget, and I don't know about furniture,
Yeah, that's,
there must be donated office furniture, there's gotta be.
State of New Hampshire probably has a surplus furniture.
worst case, you go to the state of New Hampshire surplus auction,
Yeah.
and they have warehouses
Mountains.
full of
I know.
office furniture.
Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
so.
And I would like at some point, once this room gets bigger, for us to think about, can we have a better table situation? It feels a little silly over here on the kids' table. I just don't think
Really?
that's good enough. We have 5 members now, not 3, so we need
Right.
we need a wooden table over here.
Okay, I bet we could get one
I
done.
feel like I should have a little plate of like turkey and stuffing.
We could probably get one donated, I bet, if we put the call out.
Okay. Good, thank you.
That's my report.
All right, moving on to the signature file. Make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes from August 3rd.
Second,
Roll call vote.
you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
Done. I make a motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes from August 3rd under RSA 91A32C.
Second,
Roll call vote.
you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
And a motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes from August 3rd for RSA 91A32E.
Second,
Roll call vote.
you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
Make a motion to accept the abatement for map 214, lot 154, sublot 10, value of $19.
Second,
Roll call vote.
you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
Next one we already did.
Did we already do that?
And the
Okay.
next one we already
And the
did.
raffle form we did. Make a motion to accept the accounts payable at $322,284.43.
Second,
Let's take a look.
Not surprisingly, $275 for the school check. Waste management was $15K and Sanborn Head was $21. Those are the big checks.
We had a second, so roll call vote.
did you say yes?
Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
The cash used to date, $7,152,879.48. Select board update.
I spoke with Sanborn Head today, the designers for the transfer station improvements. The borings are complete, but they're delayed in getting the report of the borings, which I will try not to call the boring report, but it probably will be, describing the soil conditions. So we should have a report on the borings next week. Probably by the end of August, we will get notified of our grant applications from the EPA and the Northern Borders Regional Commission.
Can I just say I've heard that before?
Yeah.
That will be exciting.
So it should be by the end of August. So the Northern Borders Regional Commission has a meeting next week on Wednesday, and it's very possible that this is one of the items that will be discussed, so I'm going to try to dial into it. My guess is how it happens is there's probably staff recommendations that then have to be voted on by the commission itself. So there's some public process, and it's not purely administrative. So we might see it before we get official word. But the EPA grant, which is even bigger, and has much more competition, that's purely administrative, so you wouldn't see anybody vote on that. But I think they are very likely to award these before the end of the federal fiscal year, and that's end of September. So I think, and both entities have told me in emails, it's August. So
Do you know when exactly that Northern Borders meeting is?
I think it's the 15th. So they indicate there is a meeting and they have a Zoom option, but they don't tell you anything more, like there's no link for the Zoom or anything like that. So I'll see if I can get that, because it'd be interesting to dial in. I've never participated in their meetings before. Last thing, the Energy Committee has been very busy. They have a home, what they call a button-up workshop happening in about a month.
What
It's
workshop?
Button-up. It's for home insulation. So it's free for any homeowner that wants to come learn how to tighten up their house so they can save on your energy bills. And we get closer to it, I'll give you more details. the Energy Committee also has been chatting with the TCNA about the possibility of putting conduit in the parking lot for future charging stations, because they're gonna tear up the parking lot anyway. Let's at least put some empty conduit in there so you can snake the wires in later. And it sounds like the TCNA will fund that themselves. I thought we were gonna have to fund it, or somebody would, but it sounds like it's
Yeah, I think the
$2,500 or something. It's pretty
conduit
small
work.
potatoes.
Yeah,
And I think they're even looking into whether or not they would fund charging,
wow.
but that's to be determined. But that would be pretty, that'd be pretty exciting either way. And that's all I have.
I think I have nothing to report. I think my meetings are later in the month.
Okay. I did not have any meetings either, but I did want to bring up a concern by one of the transportation attendants about signage, and it's kind of fitting with the change in cost that there's a lot of people trying to get out of paying the fees by just dumping it really quick and running.
And I will note that our budgeted fee amount is one of the few items that's not quite meeting budget,
Okay.
so it's,
And are these people in the municipal solid waste or in with the demolition debris?
They are in with, my understanding is tires,
Yeah.
batteries, things get dropped off, obviously, and we can't police necessarily when people
Yeah.
want to hide stuff and squirrel it away, but apparently in the construction debris, there's a fair amount of people just pulling up quick,
And take it off.
taking off, and then when confronted, being told that there's no sign saying that we have to pay for this or whatnot. So the signage is a little anemic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up and discuss what needs to be done to get some better signage.
Yeah.
Do we need something from the board to do that? Can that just come out of Glenn's budget? Whatnot.
I would think that Glenn's, if there's room for it, Glenn's budget could just make have some signs made.
Okay.
And there must be a couple sign shops. I know there's one up in Conway. I've driven by it.
Oh,
But signs are, I
Gemini
don't know, yeah.
on West Main Street.
Maybe those corrugated plastic ones.
Right.
They
And
last.
you can buy them online pretty
Yeah,
easily.
I guess it's who lays them out too.
what's that?
They need to be designed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person I talked to had some wording that they thought would work well. Apparently it's been noodled around up there a bit, so I don't know what we need to do. But I'll talk to Glenn as well about his budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're
We
right.
don't
When you
need to
pull
go-
up to the container, it doesn't say anything that I recall. Somewhere it probably does, but not
There
clear
is,
enough.
exactly, it's not painfully in your face, so the hope was to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that would be good.
Yeah.
Get some signs.
yeah. And I think that's really all I have.
Okay. Is there any public input? Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any update on the Club Motorsport display of vehicles? Is there any update on that?
The car show?
Yes.
The Energy Committee is talking to Club Motorsports about it. It probably won't be able to fit into the schedule in the fall, so it's likely to be in the spring. So Club Motorsports, it's the concept is to have car dealers who have EVs come and show EVs and combine it with a classic car show. The Club Motorsports people said they would take care of the classic car aspect of it, and the Energy Committee already has commitments from a number of dealers to bring EVs there, but the details yet to be worked out, and it's likely to be in the spring.
Thank you.
okay. Hearing no,
This is Maureen. May I make a comment?
absolutely, Maureen.
Hi there. I have 3 questions, and I'll put them before you and let you answer them as time permits. First is, do any of you know any more about further work on Page Hill Road? There is still an area that is really inadequate in terms of its width. If you're passing, a wide-body vehicle and a normal car going in opposite directions. And that's right across from Kelly's place. The second question is, do you have any follow-up on the meeting that you had in Sandwich on the 7th? And the third question is regarding your recent discussion about the EV charging station. You may realize that there was a letter to the editor in the Sun in response to an article about TCNA's building plans, and this article was late June, the letter was very late June, where the letter writer, who said she was from Tamworth, had concerns about an EV charging station being planned for the parking lot without any voter input, without any resident input. So those are my comments. I'm just passing things on to you.
I would take the last one as fairly simple. The EV charging stations would be operated by credit cards, so there would be no cost to the town as far as charging vehicles goes. And we would find whatever grant money was available as far as installing the charging stations, so that should be minimal cost to the town as well.
Yeah, I think if there was any installation cost, it would probably have to go to town meeting.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
always anticipated that it would be grant funded.
Yeah.
And you're right, the cost of the actual electricity, the users would have to pay for that with their credit card. That's always been the
Yeah.
assumption.
We don't have Emery here, so he's our road agent contact. And
Just, I have one, so Richard did say there was one bit of work left to do, and I know he had received bids on it, and I think it was gonna happen shortly. But Maureen, I can find out and let you know tomorrow, it won't be in tomorrow, I can let you know on Monday. About
So they're not quite done, but there's still a little.
there's a little bit more and he's planning on addressing. I don't know if it's that exact spot, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing it is.
And also, I did chat with the road agent, and they're planning to do some culvert work on Great Hill Road, but they're waiting till the Swift River Bridge is complete, and then there'll be a lot less traffic on Great Hill Road. And he did chat with New Hampshire DOT, and they're looking like they'll be done early with the bridge. So the estimated completion date for the Swift River Bridge is August 25th.
August 25th, thank you.
wow,
So that's good.
that's impressive.
There'll be a lot less traffic on my road, which will be good for the people in Great Hill Road. And then they'll be able to do some more drainage work there. And as far as Sandwich, I think this select board needs to meet again and talk about the boundaries dispute again with Sandwich, and we do plan to do that. Very likely in non-public session. There's a provision to, when you're in active litigation, to have non-public sessions. I think it was good to have a conversation with the folks from Sandwich and Molten Borough in the room. One thing to clarify that may have been a bit misleading in the meeting is the joint meeting happened because we asked for it. It was our idea. It was not Sandwich's idea, which I think is what people may have had that impression. The meeting only happened because we asked for it. So I think we still have some decisions to make as to how far we pursue this, if we want to stay with the involved in the litigation that's there. And we would chat with Molten Borough as well, because we are right now sharing legal costs with the town of Molten Borough. So it was good to have a conversation, but I wouldn't say anything that really has changed as a result of the discussion. But it was worth a try to be in the same room and have a conversation.
I would say there's been some increased public comment, which I personally appreciate.
Thank you very much for your feedback. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Ed.
In reference to the boundary discussion, I would think, since it takes an act of the legislature to create a border or a boundary line, I would think that the legislature should have been involved with this so money wasn't spent doing this. I would think that a committee formed by the legislature to act on these issues should have been brought together to confirm where the line is supposed to be, and they could make the legislation and then vote on it. Why make towns spend hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah,
for a boundary that's been not disputed since 1805?
yeah, right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's why we went to the meeting. We asked to go to the meeting to find out why the Sandwich Select Board had chosen to dispute this at this time, since it had been fairly well established for many years.
And I guess there are two ways to change a boundary. One is through the legislature, which you would think would be the best way, but you can also do it through litigation.
A judge can
Decide that.
rule on it.
And it's unfortunate it's gone down this road, but it certainly was something new to all of us since we've never done it before. But we're learning fast. And I think sometime in the next few weeks that this will perhaps come to fruition somehow.
Right. Our plan is not to spend a lot of taxpayer money litigating this, so,
Well, we're gonna meet on it.
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we have on that. All right, I make a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A:3, 2C for sessions 3 and 4
Second.
At 6:48.
at
Thank you.
6:48. Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
We are now in non-public. I make a motion to come out of non-public at 7:34.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
We're out of non-public and the minutes are not sealed. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Done. At 7:35.